What's going on, nation? Today I'm going to teach you guys how to build a meal plan. Now obviously you can use the meal planner on my website, but it's really important to me that you guys understand where these numbers are coming from. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to calculate what you need to be eating a day for protein, carbs, fat, and calories in order to reach your goal. Now in order to do these calculations, you're going to need to know a few things. You have to know what your weight is, your body fat percentage, and what your basal metabolic rate is, or your BMR. And what that is basically how many calories you need to be eating a day in order to maintain your current weight. Now to do these calculations, I'm actually going to be using my information. So let's take a look over here really quick. My info. Right now my weight is 171 pounds and my body fat percentage is around 7%. The first two numbers you need to figure out from your weight and your body fat percentage is how much of that weight is fat weight, then the leftover is going to be your lean weight. So in order to figure this out, I'm going to take my body weight, which is 171 pounds, and I'm going to multiply that by my body fat percentage, which is 7%, and it's going to come out to 12 pounds. So 12 pounds of my body is body fat, and the rest is going to be my lean weight. So all I need to do is take my weight, which is 171, and then subtract that 12 pounds, and it's going to come out to 159 pounds. So right now my fat weight is 12 pounds and my lean weight is 159 pounds. And you have to remember this number because I'm going to use it later. Now I already did my calculations on my website for my BMR, and what I want you guys to do is actually take an average of the two numbers you get. The first number is going to be your BMR at rest. So for me it's 1,832 calories. And your BMR in motion, well, for me was 2,840 calories. And in order to get an average of those, all you're going to do is add them together, then divide by 2. So my, on average, BMR daily is 2,336 calories, and that's how many calories I need to be consuming a day in order to maintain my current weight. Now typically if you want to lose weight, you want to be 250 to 500 calories below this number, and if you want to gain weight, you want to be 250 to 500 calories over that number. But keep this in mind because we're going to use that later. The first thing I'm going to figure out is how much protein you should be eating a day in order to reach your goal. So what this means is we have a scale of how much protein you should have. To go on the lower end of the scale, which is around 1 gram per pound of lean weight, that's if you want to maintain or lose body fat. If you're trying to gain muscle, you want to go towards the higher end of the scale, which is 1.5 grams per pound of lean weight. So very simple calculation, 1 times 159, which is my lean weight, comes out to 159 grams. Now for me, my goal is to gain muscle. So I'm going to go to that 1.5 grams per pound of lean weight, and it comes out to 239 grams. That's how many grams of protein I need to be eating a day in order to reach my goal. The next thing I'm going to do is figure out what your fat should be for the day. So we're going to use a fat multiplier, once again using a scaled system. The lower end of the scale is if you want to maintain or lose weight. The higher end if you're trying to gain weight. So the low end of the scale is you would multiply your lean weight once again by 0.35. So 0.35 times 159 equals 56 grams. If you're trying to gain muscle, which is what I'm trying to do, you want to multiply your lean weight by 0.5, which is the higher end of the scale. And that comes out to 80 grams. So as of right now, I know that if I'm trying to gain muscle and make lean gains, I want to stick to about 239 grams of protein a day. And I also want to stick to around 80 grams of fat a day. Now before we figure out what your carbs should be, I want to teach you guys some numbers really quick. You need to know what your macros are from grams to calories. Your protein, 1 gram equals 4 calories. For carbohydrates, the same exact thing. 1 gram is 4 calories. And for fat, 1 gram actually equals 9 calories. So keep this in mind as we move down the list to figure out what your carbs should be for the day. Before we figure out what your carbs are utilizing the Carb Multiplier, we're going to figure out how many calories you're consuming right now in protein and fat. So protein, my number over here was 239 grams, times 4 comes up to 956 calories. For your fat, once again, I took the 80 grams. I'm going to multiply that by 9, and that comes out to 720 calories. And if I add these two numbers together, my total is 1,676 calories. That's how many calories I'm consuming just from my protein and fat that I'm eating every single day. Now, in order to figure out what your carbohydrates are going to be, we're going to have to take that leftover calories from what our BMR is minus the total calories from protein and fat. And so remember, I told you to keep in mind that range of 250 to 500 calories. My goal is to make lean gains, so what I've been doing is going 250 calories over my BMR, which came out to 2,336 calories for the day. And so I added that up over here. So my current BMR right now for my goal, which is to gain muscle, is going to be that 2,336 plus 250 calories, which comes out to 2,586. So this is my total calories of how much I should be eating a day. And so in order to figure out how many grams of carbs you should be eating a day, you have to first figure out what those leftover calories are. And the way you do that is very simple. You take your new goal for your BMR and you subtract it from the amount of calories you're taking in right now from protein and fat, and that's going to come out to 910 calories. And all you're going to do to figure out what your carbs are in grams, now remember, per gram of carbohydrates is 4 calories. So 910 calories divided by 4 comes out to 228 grams. So in order for me to reach my goal, I need to be consuming 239 grams of protein, 80 grams of fat, and 228 grams of carbohydrates. And I rewrote those numbers up here. And I also put the calories on the right-hand side just so you guys could see those. So protein, 239 grams times 4 is 956 calories. Carbs, 228 times 4 is 912 calories. Fat, 80 grams times 9 is 720 calories, which comes out to 2,588. Now I know I told you guys my goal was 2,586. The only reason why it's off by a few calories is because I rounded some of the numbers up, and that's normal. But now that you have these numbers, this is basically like your baseline starting point. As you continue to exercise and you continue to push yourself and reach new goals, you're going to have to manipulate these numbers. Also, everyone's body is different, and you're going to digest food differently, and you might react to certain amounts of carbs or protein differently. And so for me, I started off here. And what I ended up doing is manipulating those numbers because I noticed that as I was eating more carbohydrates, I was starting to keep more body fat around my torso area. But before I get into those numbers, I want to explain something to you guys real quick that might help you manipulate what your current carb intake is based on your goals. So carb intake guidelines. For accelerated fat loss, you can be between the 0 and 50 grams range. But I would not recommend staying in this range too long because it's not a healthy range to be in. If you're preparing for a show or a wedding or a photo shoot, you might want to stick to that range to drop some weight real quick, but you're going to have to make sure you have at least one carb refeed day a week so that you don't end up getting sick or losing too much weight or feeling too weak. And on a refeed day, usually you just kind of pump up your carbs to like between 200 and 250 grams, maybe even as high as 300 grams, just to replenish your glycogen stores. Now for fat loss, a good range to be in is between 50 grams and 100 grams. For maintenance, you can go between 100 grams and 150. And maintenance just basically means kind of stay where you're at. For weight gain, you want to be between 150 grams and 300. And anything really over 300 is going to be the excessive weight gain category where you're actually gaining more weight than you really need to. You're putting on a lot of excess body fat. And so for me, what I did was I manipulated these numbers and I came to this conclusion down here. So my daily macros as of right now is I'm eating about 250 grams of protein, so I bumped that up from 239. I'm eating only 150 grams of carbs, which previously it was 228, and I'm eating 100 grams of fat, which before was 80 grams. You have to understand something. The amount of calories you're consuming a day is very important, and so I know that I need to be eating at least 2,588 calories. So if I'm going to start taking carbs out, I'm going to have to bump up my protein and fat in order to make up for those lost calories. And that's why I was able to bump my protein up and bump my fat up while I lowered my carbohydrate intake for the day. So I hope this video was very informative for you guys. And as you move forward and you start to reach your goals, I want you guys to make sure you're coming back to here because as your body fat percentage changes and as your weight changes, you might have to make some small calculation changes to what your protein, carbs, and fat are for the day. Now, if you don't want to go through all of this all the time, and if you don't want to have to add up your macros every single day from all the food you eat, you can utilize the meal plan system on my website because it'll do all of that stuff for you. And you can even actually enter all your custom foods in as well, or you can use my meal plan app and it has a barcode scanner where you can basically get your favorite foods, scan the barcode with your phone, and it will automatically add in all the protein, carbs, and fat and calories for that item, and then help you add them up for the day as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to try my meal planner out for 1 month free, use the promo code FREEFITNESS. For more great tips, exercises, and routines, feel free to join me on scotthermanfitness.com. And as always, more good stuff coming soon. See you guys.